What up, Detroit? Welcome back to The Hook. I'm your host, Keith Butler, with my co-host, Jeffrey Lowe.
What up, what up, what up?
It's a hot day here in the city. It's been hot all week. We're looking at about 80 degrees right now. It's been up to 92. It's so hot that there are about 3 or 4 people on the golf course right now. They say they're not need to get any darker than they already are. It's hot here in the city.
Well, they're definitely getting a tan out there as they're walking around, hitting those golf balls and cutting the grass. And hey, doesn't seem to be really very active at all.
It's too hot, man.
It's too
He's going to go out there, he's going to go for a stroke and have a stroke.
Right.
But hey, we'd like to welcome you guys back to The Hook. As always, we're glad to have you with us. And you know what? We're going to talk about this assassination.
Attempted.
Yes, attempted assassination.
Attempted assassination.
Which I think personally is hogwash. I think it was set up. At least I did until that young man was killed protecting his family. And but I still have my suspicions. But Jeff, what do you think, man?
It's an assassination attempt.
It's a sad thing, regardless.
It's very sad, and all the rhetoric and negative things that surround politics today, and especially the man that we're talking about, which the assassination was attempted on, and that's former President Trump.
Do you think that it's something that he could have, set up? Because I mean, when we look at the footage, it just seems nobody in the stands moved hardly.
Everybody was in shock and awe. Like,
yeah, but I mean, if you hear gunshots, what's your first? At least duck.
Well, look,
people were just sitting up, man, screaming. And I'm getting out the stands, man.
Well, see, now those are white folks, and it's a little different now. We come from the hood. When we hear gunshots, there's no hesitation. We're hauling ass.
Yeah,
we're moving. We're getting the hell out of there. We know the difference between a firecracker and a gunshot.
Hell, even if I hear a firecracker and I'm in the audience, I'm moving. Okay?
Yeah, me too.
But I'm
hitting the deck. It
just seemed real weird to me. The whole incident. The kid was within the perimeter. How do you get up there? And people are already saying there's a guy up on the roof with a gun.
That's the part that baffles me.
And you told me off air before we started that there were officers in that building.
In the building. So
how did he get past them with a fucking gun?
And
with an AR.
He had to climb on the building with the AR.
How did he do
that? And it wasn't like he was seen. They pointed him out. There's somebody up there with an AR, with a rifle.
What's
and they're telling officers that. They're like, wait a minute. How did this ever happen? How did it ever get to that point?
If somebody tells you at a presidential rally or a former presidential rally that there's somebody up there with a gun and you're a police officer, what's the first thing you do? You go check it out. You go make sure
from what I understand,
it's contained.
For what I understand, that they did go check it out. The one officer climbed the building, stuck his head up on top of the building, and the gunman actually pointed the rifle at him.
That's what you heard?
Yeah, and he dropped his head and dropped
back down
18 feet to the ground. And then after that, I didn't hear any more about that.
Until the kid was killed.
Right.
So you see the guy, he points a gun at you, and instead of going down and getting reinforcements,
he falls down. He fell down.
Was he knocked out?
No, from the report I heard, it was like He put
He
his
just-
head up, looked at him. The gun was pointed at him, and he fell back down to the ground.
Yeah, I guess to avoid getting shot. But
Yeah.
even at that point,
Was he conscious? Did he fall? I mean, did he not? I mean,
I mean, if you're not knocked out, what's the first thing you'll do? There's a guy up there with a gun. He just pointed at you.
right.
So you make other officers aware of the situation. But you know what else? Okay, they got the kid. I'm thinking it's like a Lee Harvey Oswald kind of thing. You got a patsy up there, you know. And I'm thinking the whole thing was set up. Like I said again, I thought that prior to hearing that, you know, a man was killed protecting his family, and there were a couple other people wounded. But knowing how politics and power work in America, there's almost nothing that people in power won't do to maintain that power and their finances, their wealth, including sacrificing people's lives, you know, for their benefit. So if somebody came to me years later and said, oh, this whole thing was set up, you know, that kid was a patsy, they just found somebody in the crowd and murdered them to make it look more realistic, I would not be surprised. You know, because those things have happened throughout American history.
It'd be hard for me to believe that kind of, I don't know. I mean,
Was that kind of a scheme?
Yeah, to
Come
sacrifice
on, Jeff.
somebody's life. I mean,
Jeff, they
somebody
do,
in the audience just, you know, I don't know. It's just,
why do you think Lee Harvey Oswald was killed?
well, he
He's-
walked right up to the,
Yeah, he's there being taken out, and somebody was able to get in there
right.
and kill him right there.
Yeah.
Why do you think he was
Well,
killed? To
he-
keep him from talking. They had to get rid of that patsy.
Yeah.
So why wouldn't they do that now? They have to do things to make it look realistic, to make it legit.
So you saying that this young man was a patsy?
I think he was probably a patsy, or at least, I mean,
You're saying that this was a ploy
I think it was a plot.
to energize
The
Trump's
Trump campaign.
base.
Yes. That's exactly what I'm thinking. And at that point, one or two people sacrificed is not a major loss. You think about it. Our Navy, our Army, our Marines, they've got a term. Acceptable casualties. And we're nothing but numbers to people in power. They don't know our faces. They don't know who we are. They don't know about our families. They don't know about our livelihood. We're numbers.
So you're saying this couple who lost their life attending a rally,
This man, yeah.
eh,
He's a number.
he's an acceptable casualty.
He's an acceptable casualty. Because
Wow.
when you looked at it, how long did it take them to get him off stage? No other president would have been on stage that long if they had been shot at.
That was an extended amount of time to get him off stage,
It took forever.
and he's still
And he's
pumping
looking
his
for a
fist.
shoe.
Right, and he's looking for.
And you're the Secret
I gotta get my
Service.
shoe.
You're the Secret Service, and you're going like, okay, wait a minute, boys. He's got to find his shoe. I mean, I know it's an expensive pair right there, but, you know, we can't leave without that shoe. But in the meantime, there are 5 or 6 more shots going off, but we got to find that fucking shoe. Come on.
A designer shoe.
I don't care what
A
it
John
was.
Madden designer.
I don't care what it was. It could be a red bottom. I don't know. I don't care. I'm not going to wait for it. I'm not going to sit there and say, hey, don't get me out of here. Somebody's shooting at me. I got to get my shoe. No. I'm out of, man, get me the F out of here.
Right.
Let's move. And then when they finally move him, he's still in the line of fire. What person in their right mind, what Secret Service in their right mind, and I hope they don't track us down, what Secret Service in their right mind group is going to allow a president or a presidential candidate throw his
A
hand up in
former
the
president.
air, a former president, presidential candidate, president,
Uh-huh.
throw his hand up in the air, have half his body exposed, his head exposed. He just got nicked, supposedly. How do you know there aren't other shooters out there?
You don't.
He's wide open. He's exposed to another attempt. You get him off that stage, you get him in that truck, in that whatever it is, that SUV, that car, and get him the hell out of there.
And you know that that the Secret Service and the CIA and all the protection detail around the former president, they, I mean, according to some of the reports I saw, it was botched.
You think?
It was just a terrible job in presidential protection.
You think?
You wouldn't this example of presidential protection would be used as
what not to do.
Absolutely.
Yeah, as a training.
Yeah.
What not to do. But, you're looking also at, I don't know if it's the ATF, whoever it was, but they're armed from head to toe. They get their helmets on, their body gear. And they're just walking across the stage, it looked to me pretty casual, looking down into the audience. I guess the bottom line, Jeff, it just, there was no sense of urgency. Now, I'm not a Trump fan by any means.
Me either.
But I don't want to see anybody get shot at. I don't want to see anybody get killed.
Right.
Regardless of their politics or whatever. But this was ridiculous. But it also makes one think, how bad, is this guy's politics and his reforms and his ideals that would make a 20-year-old flip out? Of course, he was a white kid, It's mental health when they do it. He had mental health issues, We do it, we just.
Here's a kid that just graduated from high school.
No, I thought he was 20 years old or something.
Well, I saw him walking. They showed him with his graduation cap on or something. I mean,
maybe that was an older picture.
Could have been an older picture, but anyway. But like you said, I mean, what makes automatically you would think. Well, when you think assassination, you would
they've been assassination attempts with almost every president, so
right.
It's not unusual.
Not unusual.
Plots and attempts, so some successful, some not.
Right. But a 20-year-old, who
should have his whole life in front of him, sacrifices it to get rid of this guy. What does that tell you?
And no history at all. From what the people who are going into his history and trying to find out, does he have any background in or criminal background or anything like that? Zero.
None.
Oh,
it was one of those things like, what kind of person was he?
Right.
He was a quiet guy.
Quiet kid.
Yeah.
Was always bullied in school.
Yeah.
Oh, this guy. I'm like, wait a minute. He's the real unassuming type of person that would possibly do this. But, Dad just happened to have a long gun,
a rifle
in the closet and everything. And I borrowed it, Like, what the hell? Come on, man. I mean, I'm like you. I don't want to see any assassination attempts or nothing. I mean, politics are already bad.
Yeah.
And when you look at the two guys that are running for president, I look at it and I shake my head sometimes, and I can't watch either one of them. I know which one I'm voting for, but I just can't watch it.
And you're not happy about that, are you?
Right.
Yeah.
It's like, dang.
Are you voting based on party or because you think one's the best candidate, or both?
I'm betting. I'm voting based on party number one, because I am a Democrat.
Well, you don't have to say that, man.
Well, all right. I am a Democrat.
Yeah.
But I'm voting based on party. Believe it or not, we all started off as Republicans.
Oh yeah, I know.
So
well, we didn't. The black populace did.
Black populace. Okay.
Yeah, when Lincoln was our guy.
Right.
And, I still don't know what switched us over to Democrats. But that's maybe we should look into that and see what the reason was for that. But we're going to take a break, ladies and gentlemen, and we're going to play a few bills, and we'll be back.
Hey, and one more before we go to break. Get out and vote.
Don't forget to vote. Hey, you've been thinking about doing a podcast but don't have the equipment or know where to go?
Call YMP, your mobile podcast. We will come to you.
You can do your podcast without worry of equipment or travel.
For more information, contact 313-241-0017. That's 313-241-0017.
YMP.
Your mobile podcast. Got a sweet tooth and looking for something sweet to eat? Try a taste of Summer Snacks and Sweets. They have a great assortment of delicious treats that you and your family will love. Zucchini bread, pound cake, chocolate chip cookies, peanut butter cookies, oatmeal raisin cookies, and sweet potato pie, just to name a few. To place an order, call 313-207-3440. That's 313-207-3440. Orders should be made a week in advance.
Hey everybody, I'm Keith Butler.
And I'm Jeff Lowe. Want you to check out The Hook on Apple, Google, or Spotify podcasts.
And if you have any questions or comments, you can hit us up at our emails. Mine is KEBU10, that's the number 10, at yahoo.com.
And mine is jlow1215 at gmail.com.
That's The Hook Podcast, everybody. Thanks for listening. Make any occasion a celebration to remember with Yard Card Memories. Birthdays, graduations, homegoings, anniversaries, and more. Yard Card Memories is a creative and artistic greeting and messaging company with a focus on making memories for any occasion with the installation of yard card rentals that we create and display on your yard. Make your occasion a celebration to remember with Yard Card Memories. To book your Yard Card Memories rental, call 313-246-2927. That's 313-246-2927. Make sure you book early. We recommend 2 weeks in advance.
I grew up in Detroit. She's my home. Some people left when things got tough, but not me. I knew she'd make it back. Like Detroit, I'm strong, resilient, hardworking, and loyal. Detroit has been true to me. I will be true to Detroit.
To get your True Detroiter gear, go to true-detroiter.creator-spring.com. Get yours today.
Welcome back, everybody. Thank you for that little short break. It's still hot outside, and we were talking about, this presidential assassination and attempt. And it's just a bad vibe for America. It always has been. However, it's part of the history of America because, like we said earlier, I think almost every president in American history has been under some kind of assassination plot or has been successfully assassinated. Lincoln, I think Taft, stuff like a couple of those guys. I think there have been 4 successful assassinations of sitting presidents while they were in office. But, we were talking when we left, Jeff, about, voting via party or, because we like their politics, what they're standing for. And, it was an interesting situation. Like my old coworkers, they used to always talk about we need more than just 2 parties. The Republican and Democrat Party, they've been here since basically damn near the beginning establishment of this country. And, it's probably time for, another party, a couple, maybe 2 more. We need something, we need another choice. Because, before we go any further than that, you think about this whole Trump thing and he's up on stage, it makes you wonder. He talk about, Biden's, faculties. But this guy is so crazy. He's standing out there in the open after an attempted assassination on his life, throwing his fist up, trying to find a shoe. So either he's that brave or he's just that doggone crazy. Or it's a combination
I think it's
of both.
the latter one.
It probably the latter.
He's that crazy.
So whose faculties are really out? Joe
Right.
Biden's or Donald Trump?
Hey, Biden is just an older guy. Is just, you know,
What, 2-3 years?
and he moves so old, and you know, he's slow, and he's, you know, we need to energize the base. We need to energize the campaign. We need to energize the Democratic Party. We need to infuse some youth in it.
But see, you're still talking about the two-party system. I'm talking about we need a third or fourth option. Why should we, as the so-called greatest country in the world, be stuck with just these two parties that have failed us throughout the years?
We're not just stuck. I mean, we're not stuck.
I mean, but we don't vote for anybody else.
Yeah, but you don't.
And when the parties come up, they're so weak and so small, you don't even give them a chance.
That's the thing. Those other parties that attempt to get in the race are so weak, and they are just not capable of raising the dollar amounts that are necessary to campaign and
defeat the incumbents,
right?
The stronger party. I get that, but I mean, when do we as Americans, when do we as citizens look up and say, you know what, enough is enough? Let's look at another option. And
what would be the third option?
I don't care. Call it whatever you want to call it. You know, call it I'm not voting for them. I don't care. You know, you got the liberty.
No, I'm just saying though. I mean, when you look at the options that we have now, and
okay, but you had Kennedy. You know, he was out. He had his own party.
Kennedy.
Yeah, John F. You know,
Kennedy. Serious.
Yeah, I'm just saying
that Kennedy.
I'm just saying.
I can't even understand that guy.
Okay, and he had the corniest ad I'd ever seen in my life.
Oh, man.
But the point is, all I'm saying is, whether you vote for him or not, there needs to be another option. Give me something else to look at. And for those people with political aspirations of becoming president or whatever, you know, start campaigning. Get your face out there. Start telling people what you stand for. Let me know what your ideals are. You know, I mean, most of the political ideals are pretty much the same. You know, safe streets, jobs, better housing, better education. Okay, I get all that. Everybody wants that.
And in 4 years, none of that never happens.
It never barely happens. You know, but I mean, it just gets a little frustrating.
It does.
You know, and when your best options for the two biggest parties in the country are 75-year-old men or 70-plus-year-old men.
80-year-old.
Are they that old?
Right.
When you get, these are your best options. You know, it's a sad state of affairs, man. You know, sometimes we look at, you know, I just recently retired. And when I started working, I had in my head, because back in the days when we were younger, it was 30 years and out. You know, you reach 65, 30 years, you're done. You collect your pension, you might collect your Social Security, which is in jeopardy, you know, and then you go off and enjoy your heydays, as they used to say. So I'm a couple of months from 65, and so I retired. Mm-hmm. You know, I worked 40 years or whatever it was. And I just called it a day. You know, and so at this point, I need to be able to turn to something that is going to assure me that the last few years of my life are going to be worthwhile. They're going to be okay. I'm going to have leadership, you know, who can guide me through my golden years, whether they're old or not. But I said that to say this, Jeff. I know it sounds a little crazy. I had a limit. I had a limit of when I knew I was going to quit working. 30 years or 65 years of age. I knew those were my limits, almost like term limitations. Mm-hmm. Maybe we should have term limitations or age limitations. Yeah, we have term limitations.
Presidency.
We have term limitations on the presidency. You can only run twice.
Two terms. Right.
But maybe we should have age limitations on how old you can be to hold office, the office of presidency. And maybe they need to take competency tests and stuff like that on a regular basis.
Trump did suggest that for for Biden. You know,
of course he suggested for Biden, but like I said, where's my shoe? White power, fist in the air while I'm being shot at. Doesn't he need to take a test?
Yeah, they both should take a test. Right?
Who's crazy? Even Sleepy Joe, as he likes to call him, would have ducked down and had enough sense to get in the car.
He wouldn't have had no option.
No,
they would have picked him up and carried him to the car. Because he don't move fast enough to get there on his own like that.
Well, I mean, regardless. But, on top of that, Jeff, I'm just disappointed with the Secret Service. It looked really bad on them. And if I was Trump, well, Trump probably won't, but if I was in that situation, I think I would have released them all.
He praised them all. He praised them on what a great job that they did.
See, I didn't see that.
Yeah.
I didn't hear that.
That's what he did.
Well, there you go again. Lack of intelligence. I'd be cussing those guys out. I'm still on the stage. Or why am I still on the stage for 20 seconds? Right. I should be in the car. Well, Keith, Mr. President, you want to get your shoe. That's not your job. I could be in a state of shock, talking crazy. You are supposed to get me out of there, regardless of what I'm talking about. At that point, I'm no longer in charge. You're in charge. You're supposed to protect me at any cost, which is kind of crazy. But at that point, when somebody makes an attempt on the president's life or his family, Secret Service becomes the top
priority
dog.
One. Right.
Right. You're priority one. I'm in charge now. I don't want to hear what you got to say. Somebody just shot at you. We're getting you out of here. I don't care if you left your dog, your sandwich, your whistle or whatever. You got to go. We got to get you to safety. It didn't make sense.
No, it didn't. None of it did. You're absolutely right. And when you take a look back at that, most security details that protect presidents are like that. As far as priority number one is the president and the people closest to the president.
Yeah,
with the first lady and the first family, but priority number one is the president of the United States, and it's no hesitation. It's bam, quick movement, get him in the car, get him where he can be protected.
Yeah, and why?
And if he stick his head up, you pushing it down.
You push it down. I think about when Reagan.
I don't care if the wig does come off.
You'll be able to find that orange wig.
We better get that. We'll get that later, Mr.
That
President.
and the shoe.
Right.
But it makes me think about when they attempted assassination on Reagan. They showed the video of it, of the film back then, and I couldn't see Reagan.
No, right.
It looked like he was in a bubble.
You weren't supposed to see him.
I couldn't see him. All I saw was this blob of men moving toward the car. They push it into the car. Some of them jump in with him, and the door closes, and the car takes off. Just like that.
Quick. That's right.
But anyway, ladies and gentlemen, that's our 30 minutes. Jeff, you got anything else before we sign off?
I just want everybody to get out and vote, and make sure your vote counts. Whoever you vote for, get out. Let's go through the process and make it happen.
Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, like Jeff said, vote. It's nothing. It's not as big as waste. There's no waste as big as not voting. And a lot of people died for our vote. A lot of people fought for our vote. So use it. And I'd like to thank you all for joining us. I'm Keith Butler.
I'm Jeff, Big Daddy Love.
And thanks for tuning into The Hook. We'll talk to you again soon.